The letter arrived on a Tuesday. Cream-colored envelope, no return address. Your full legal name typed in a font you didn't recognize. Inside, a single page from Hargrove and Associates Estate Management, informing you that you had inherited a property at 14 Sallow Lane in a town called Fernhollow from one Edith Maren, your great-aunt apparently, a woman your family had never once mentioned. You searched the name. Nothing. No obituary, no social media, no public records beyond a single census entry from 1987, listing her as head of household at that address. The house had been sitting empty for, according to the estate documents, 31 years. You drove out on a Saturday. Fernhollow was one of those towns that exists mostly as a name on a green highway sign. The GPS lost signal 2 miles before the turnoff, and you had to navigate by the hand-drawn map included with the letter. Sallow Lane was a gravel road that ended at a thicket of dead birch trees. Behind them, barely visible, stood the house. It was smaller than you expected. A single-story ranch, white clapboard, black roof. The yard was overgrown, but not wild, more like it had been mowed recently and then abandoned for a few weeks. The front door was unlocked. Inside, the air was cold. Not drafty, cold, like a refrigerator. The layout was simple. A living room, a kitchen, a hallway with 3 doors. Bedroom, bathroom, linen closet. You walked through each room, took photos on your phone, and compared them to the floor plan included with the estate paperwork. The floor plan showed 3 rooms off the hallway. You counted 4 doors. You recounted. 3 doors on the left side of the hallway, 1 on the right. The floor plan showed 2 on the left and 1 on the right. You opened the extra door. It was a small room, maybe 8 by 8 feet, with no windows, no furniture, and a single light fixture in the ceiling that turned on when you flipped the switch outside. The walls were painted the same pale yellow as the rest of the house. The carpet was the same beige. There was nothing remarkable about it at all, except that it should not have been there. You called the estate attorney. The number on the letter was disconnected. You called the county planning office. They had no record of a renovation permit for 14 Sallow Lane. According to their files, the house had 3 rooms off the hallway, exactly matching the floor plan you held in your hand. You spent the night in the bedroom. You didn't plan to... You meant to leave before dark. But by the time you finished exploring, the sun was already below the tree line, and the gravel road was not one you wanted to drive in darkness. The bedroom had a mattress, no sheets, and a nightstand with a lamp that worked. You lay down fully clothed and set an alarm for dawn. You woke at 3:17 a.m. to a sound you couldn't place, a soft, rhythmic tapping, like someone drumming their fingers on a countertop. It was coming from the hallway. You lay still, listening. The tapping moved. It passed your door, continued down the hall, and stopped. Then you heard a door open and close. In the morning, you walked the hallway. There were 5 doors. The new door was on the right side, opposite the original extra room. You opened it. Another small room, identical to the first. Same dimensions, same paint, same carpet, Same ceiling light. Same empty nothing. You checked the exterior of the house from outside. The right side of the building had 2 windows, bedroom and bathroom. The left side had 1 window, the kitchen. There was no physical space for a 4th room off the hallway. The math didn't work. The square footage of the interior exceeded the footprint of the building by roughly 200 square feet. You drove to the county office when it opened. The clerk pulled the original 1964 building permit. 3 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, kitchen, living room. No hallway rooms at all. The house, as built, was supposed to have a simple bedroom-bathroom linen configuration. The hallway rooms, all of them, were undocumented. The clerk looked uncomfortable and suggested you hire a structural engineer. You hired one. He arrived 2 days later, laser measures and thermal imaging equipment in hand. He spent 4 hours inside the house. His report, delivered by email that evening, said the interior dimensions were inconsistent with the exterior envelope by a factor that cannot be explained by measurement error, wall thickness, or standard construction variance. He recommended you not spend the night in the house again. You went back anyway. You had to know. That night, you sat in the living room with a notebook and a tape measure. At 11 p.m., the hallway had 5 doors. At midnight, you walked it again. 6 doors. You measured the hallway. It was 18 feet long. The previous night, when it had 5 doors, it was 18 feet long. The house was not getting bigger. The hallway was not stretching. The rooms were simply appearing. You opened the 6th door. Inside was a room identical to all the others, except for one difference. On the far wall, written in the same pale yellow as the paint, barely visible unless you looked at the right angle, was a single sentence. You counted wrong. Start over. You left at 1 a.m. and did not go back. The estate was settled 6 months later. You declined the property. It reverted to the county. The last you heard, 14 Sallow Lane was listed as surplus municipal property, available for purchase. The listing noted the house had, according to a recent inspection, 9 rooms off the hallway. The county floor plan still says 3.